what is up everyone, and welcome back to the Animous. And today we are going to be reviewing the LOSCONT MS Attack Girl Blade Violet figure. Let's get right to it. Now I want to thank our friends at Gundam Model Center for going ahead and hooking us up with their partner over there at China Model Toys, which decided to send this to the channel for review. Now this figure is currently out for pre-order, so I just got it ahead of time so we can go ahead and do a full review on the figure itself. Now for those of you that are familiar with other things that I do in the channel aside from Gunpla and other model kits, I also am involved in 3D printing, which you will start seeing some of that in the channel soon, hopefully. And then I am also a big fan of figures and statues. With that being said, you know, I'm super hyped that they decided to send this to the channel for review, as it's one of the main reasons how I got first into model building. I started by buying figures that you could just change parts and interchange faces and edit stuff like that. That's usually how some people start, and then they say, oh, you know what, maybe I should try a model kit instead. And then they start getting, Kotobuikas, and you start getting other model kits that have to do with like Megami Device and all this other attack girls and all that, right? So super happy for that. So let's go ahead and open up the box and see what's inside. So one of the things that really actually pulled me into this box was the fact that they decided to do a full map box with the design of the character itself on the box. I felt like that was super convenient. It looks super nice. And then you also have the symbols in the back, all the designs, everything. The art in this box just looks insane. So this is just the cover. So once you actually remove the cover for the model kit, or figure itself, and then once you remove the box, you are met with the additional artwork for the Blade Violet itself. So this is the Attack Battle Angel 001, which is the Blade Violet, and the artwork in this box is really nice. So you can see all the art box in the side, and the color is just insane. It just calls out to you. Now this figure comes with a lot of interchangeable parts from what I can see here and all the information that I saw online. And it also includes a base, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go ahead and open up the box and see what comes inside. So right off the bat, I can tell that it does come with a lot of accessories. And that is something that, you really see these days when it comes to figures like these that have interchangeable parts. You really see a lot of them that bring a lot of extra parts, whether it be hands, faces, expressions. You got different armors, body parts. So all of that looks really nice, and it's why some people that collect figures or collect statues prefer stuff like these, mainly because they can pose them in whatever dynamic pose they would want, and then just display them like that. So the first thing we want to look at is the manual. So it does have everything that you would want when it comes to swapping parts and where everything goes, how to remove everything, so you make sure that you don't break any parts. Now this is very important. So for those of you that are not familiar with how figures like these work, so they all have interchangeable parts, and although they do have interchangeable parts, you still have to make sure that you're very delicate when you're swapping parts over, so you don't break your parts in the process. And it's happened before, it's happened to me, it's happened to all of us. So it does have seems like it does some gimmicks in the leg. I see that one of them is already open. Now I want to walk you through the details on the kit itself and the amount of detail that it was put into this model itself. But this is very handy. I like the fact that they included the very detailed instructions. So it does have a lot of interchangeable parts. So as you can see, it does have the jacket. Now I do want to bring your attention to this. So this right here is going to be the jacket for this. This is actual fabric. And not only that, but it does have a gimmick, because some might think, well, that must be hard to like put on and take off. It is magnetized. So once you put it on the figure, you just go ahead and place the magnet, and it goes back to where it's supposed to be. So there's no velcros, there's no clipping, there's nothing. You just put it on the model and that's it. But the one thing that I liked about this one is that it brings a face that you can split into two. If you want to get that cyberpunk look going on, then you can go ahead and grab this one, and then also put on the face mask like so. I think that looks really cool. One other gimmick that it got is that, you know, if you're one of those people that like to have everything super covered up, then it also brings an additional chest plate, so you can go ahead and swap that out. We will be swapping that out here, so I can give you the close-ups and everything like that. And the other thing that I want to talk about is going to be the details for the additional legs, right? So I just want to bring your attention to this. The amount of detail that went into this figure is really, really nice. Now, yes, you do still have some seam lines here and there, where, you know, maybe they could have just glued it a little bit better together. But overall, the quality of this kit, of this model, is insane. Like, the quality of the paint and the details when it comes to the actual sketching and or water slides that they used on this is great. As far as flexibility and everything, we'll test it out once I start posing the kit. So this is what I'm going to do. It does bring a base. Now, the base also serves as a storage for all the additional parts, and that is a winner for me. The base seems very well made. It does have the attachment, so you can go ahead and place additional parts or bases. You can remove or pose however you want. It does bring the hanger, so you can go ahead and hang your figure as well, unless you just want it in a standing pose. That's very nice as well. And one thing that really drew my attention was this weapon. So this weapon does have a faded looking like a faded airbrush color here, and it is a clear part. But the amount of detail that went into this weapon itself is insane. Like, it looks really, really good. It even has water slide decals and everything on it, so it looks really good. Now, I'm pretty sure that most of these, if they're not water slide decals, they're printed out on the parts. But that just looks great. It just adds on to it. It also brings an additional head, which is definitely the one that we're going to install, because it does have like a cool looking visor, and I really do enjoy that. So we're definitely going to go ahead and transform this into like a complete model, and then we'll come back to the table. And it also brings an extra head here with the visor, which I do really enjoy how this looks. So I can't wait to go ahead and put that on the figure, so we can go ahead and posing it. Just for the close-up of the figure itself, the figure itself does have like a cybernetic style to it. You can see in the skin that it looks like it has that cyber style, and you might not be able to see it because of the lighting, but it does have that cyber style, like a cyborg robotic pattern on the skin. But the amount of detail that it's on the kit itself looks great. Now, if you're somebody like me, I am probably going to take it one step further to highlight these and maybe hit it with like a I don't know, a Gundam marker or something, so we can go ahead and get those highlights for that there. But overall, it looks really good. It does have metal joints when it comes to the arms and legs. So that's really cool. So one thing that I really want to try out, and I'm guessing that that's what everybody will want to see, is that we're going to go ahead and transform it into the complete Battle Angel mode and then go from there. All right, so welcome back. So I went ahead and changed the Battle Angel to how I wanted her to look, and this figure is insane. Now, I haven't really messed around with the rod for this yet, because I want to make sure that I get her into a pose where I'm just going to leave her like that and that's it. But the amount of detail that went into this kit is crazy. Even with the jacket on, everything just looks super good. And one thing that's crazy is that I was not expecting it to have a fabric jacket with the design on it, and I think that looks really good itself. The armor itself, in my opinion at least, I feel like it would have had better contrast with the armor if it would have had some other color or something, or another pattern of some sort. But does it look good? Yes. Do I feel like it could have made a little bit more contrast? Sure. But that's just coming from my model side, right? The model building side. As far as figures go, it is super sturdy. It does have a lot of flexibility when it comes to posing, and to include the feet. So if you want to get those poses right, then you will be able to do so, whether it's kicks or punches. It's going to look really nice and as a display piece, or if you just want to do a stationary pose. It does not have an issue standing on its own 2 feet if you needed to. So if you needed to stand on its own 2 feet because you want to give it a stationary pose, you're able to do that as well without any problems, and that is great. What can I say? As far as build quality goes for this figure, I've had a lot of figures, and let me tell you, Not all the figures are built the same. Now, one thing that I do want to mention about posing figures like this one, and it's not just this one, it's for other figures as well, is that you do have to be very careful with the neck joint. I seem to have made it a little bit looser by, you know, moving it around a little bit too much. So it got a little bit looser than it should be, but it'll still clip on there. You just got to make sure that you're a little bit gentle when you're moving stuff around. So that's what it looks like with the visor down, and that's something that I really like how that visor looks on the figure itself. For the weapon gimmick as well. So if you look at the weapon here, so the weapon does extend to a certain amount of area. It does have a little moving gimmick here, but this is really good when it comes to posing, because you can change the dynamic of how the weapon is going to look like depending on what pose you have it on. So for as far as overall for the figure itself, the plastic quality seems really good. I did see that the hair parts are made of like a rubbery plastic. It's not that bad. It's really solid. However, I do feel that with the test of time, the actual colors of it might start either fading or chipping away. Hopefully that's not the case, but if it is, I can just paint it on my end. But just a heads up for those of you that never painted any types of figures or anything like that, you might run into that problem eventually. If it scratches or anything like that, then you might lose the paint out of the hair. For the quality of the figure and the details of the face and the eyes and details of the figure itself and paint, everything is solid. Like if you look at the figure itself, the figure itself looks completely solid. And I really love the details when it comes to the armor parts. All the armor parts of the details there are insane, to include the hidden gimmick that it has with the thrusters in the calf there. So that's really cool as well. It does have a lot of parts, so I am going to make a little bit of a short clip at the end of this review, so you guys can see the posability of this. So I'm going to go ahead and set the figure to the side. Now I did want to talk about this base a little bit. So this base is very sturdy. It does have some foam here for that anti-slip when it comes to weight, which is really good considering you won't have to worry about it sliding anywhere or shifting or anything like that. Now, as I was mentioning before, you can just go ahead and grab all the faces and all the additional parts and hands and everything like that and set them inside. It does bring different sets of hand for different types of posing. It also does have a weapon holding hand in case you want to put any type of rifles or anything like that. That is really handy. So as you can see, everything can be stored in the base, and I cannot tell you how convenient this is, because you don't have to worry about keeping additional cases or trying to put your stuff in an additional area. It just gets stored all in one place, which is really nice in my opinion. So you go ahead and set the arm here. All right. And this is not a stationary arm, so you can move it and adjust it however you want. One thing that I want you to notice is that it also does have screws, which means that you can adjust the tension on the arm for your posing your kit. It also has adapters for in case you want to make it hold, or if you want to make sure that you get that little extension there. It does have a lot of possibilities. I just noticed something really cool about this kit, so I thought I'd mention it out. Is that the actual cable rod, once you clip it on the figure, it actually rotates, so you don't have to twist it completely around. You can just go ahead and move it, and it just moves smoothly without any restriction, which is really good when posing, because that means I don't have to twist it around until it's all bent and it looks all janky. So that's actually really good. My final thoughts on this figure from someone that, like me, that collects figures, collects statues, collects attack girls, collects, I collect SH figure arts, all of it. And I can really say to the fact that I really do like how this figure looks, and it just looks really good. And I can already imagine how it's going to look like on my shelf next to the other figures, and it's just going to look insane. So it's something really different. If you're into like cyberpunk and all these other futuristic cyborg anime series, this is definitely one to keep a lookout for. In the end, overall build quality is great considering it is a new figure. I am not too familiar with this company. However, I will be keeping a lookout for their future products because this figure really looks really good. And I know our friends are over there in China Model Center sent it over for review. But I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that this is currently a pre-order. I'm not sure if they do have it in stock right now, but I do know that they have the pre-order, so I will have a link in the description so you guys can go check it out if you are interested in it. But this is definitely a nice kit, and one thing that I keep saying is that I love the fact that it came with a cloth designed jacket accessory. Super crazy. It looks really good. And you know, and I will keep a lookout for other figures like this of that line because it does look really nice. So thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.